All right, we're back. As promised, I have created the best ever 2-second bumper video. To bumper. Here we go. There we go. That's it. I guess don't count on me running this every time. I don't know. These types of animations are like it's the same reason I don't have a tattoo. I just don't have the patience to look at the same thing repeatedly forever. Anyway, so there's a lot of things I'm going to try to get done today. First of all, let's take another look at where we ended last time. So, tile-based movement is working fine. Player moves pretty smoothly. Uh, Collisions with the map are now respected. You can't walk through walls. You also cannot walk through NPCs or any other character as far as that goes, so that's working really well. And I'm hoping to get several things done today. My friend Patrick wrote me a little piece of background music that we can try to incorporate here. Let's see if I can get that going first. Going to see if we can get the NPCs talking. And if we still have time, I'm going to see if I can start adding some UI elements on top of the screen. So let's get to it. First of all, we have our MP3, which is an assets, music, and here's the file here. It's going to be in the Git repo. I have Patrick's permission to put it here. It has README with a link to his Bandcamp page and the license he's releasing this piece of music under. So there you go. Oh, that is legit. I did the MP3 to OGG conversion myself. So because Mini Micro supports OGG and WAV files, like that support is built in. So I'd rather not write my own sound processor for the moment. But file, load sound. I think this is the interface. Let's see. Assets, music, studio, M01 OTG. Let's assign that to BGM for background music. We're just going to test out the interface. BGM, play. There we go. I'm just going to let that play to the end. I like it. It reminds me of reminds me of the hours I poured into the original Game Boy back somewhere in the early 90s. So let's see if we can integrate this into our game. First of all, let's start with the easy solution. Just going to load the sound. Ultimately, I think I'll make this a property of the map file itself. But let's just see if we can get it in. So that loads the sound. And let's see. Play, volume, and speed. Just plays the sound looping if loop is true. I think I'd like it to loop at 7 seconds. I just don't know if I have the ability to set that. Yes, that loop equals true. Play, stop. Let's go ahead and set that up. And then down here we'll stop. Of course, if we have an error, then and the whole thing crashes, the music might keep playing in the background forever. But that's right, that's not too hard to fix. Let's look over the properties we have here. Duration, frequency, envelope, waveform, fade in, fade out. Mix, play. It's interesting because it looks like I wonder if I can set the duration to 7 seconds to have it just stop at that point. But then having it pick up again at the 7 second mark would be. Oh no, I'm just not seeing an option for that here. Play 0.2. What does that do? Next example loads background music, set it to loop, then play it at volume 0.2. Yeah, it just sets the volume, which is a good point. I'm probably going to want to leave. At some point, it'll have to be one of the settings. So let's create a settings object. Settings, sound, set the music volume to 0.5 initially. Load sound, BGM.loop is true, BGM play, sound. What else do we have to work with here? Yeah, loop is either true or false. It'd be nice if that was a floating point property and we can tell it where to loop at. Which I'm trying to think if there's a way around this. Because if I could load the sound once, have it play for 7 seconds, and then load it a second time, have a fade in of 7 seconds, then it would loop, but potentially have 7 seconds of blank space in between loops. What else do we have to work with? Pan, left to right stereo panning, speed multiplier, which I'm not touching that. And loop really is true or false. I don't know. I don't know. I might need to ask for help on that one to get the music reworked. Until then, we're just going to loop it as is. Alright, let's try this. Just see if the music works. And, ooh, settings is unknown in this context. That's because settings has 2 T's. Ta-da! Okay, what'd I miss? Oh, so what I missed, you saw a delay there. That was the delay caused by loading the file. But you know, it's kind of neat. It starts the music when we enter our world. And yeah, that's nice. And it stops. Oh, I want to clean up to reset the background color. Oh, that's because there was a error. But you know, next to color equals color.orange. There you go. Okay. The settings are going to relocate the constants. We're probably going to be adding to this a lot over the next, month or so. Years, months, I don't know. And Oh, before I set this aside, I really would like to get that file reference into the properties of the map. I really, really want to. All right, let's do that now. Property name, string. What do we call this? I could abbreviate it BDN. Just call it background music. And there you go. We have it in there. Now, how do we rip that custom property out of the library? That would be tiled level, probably. Let's see what it did to our file. If we go to, let's open up the file. We'll just look at it. So you got a properties object down there. Tile sets, properties, collapse everything else. So we need to go through and make sure the tiled level is loading properties, which I betcha it is not currently. Fixing this should be as easy as it was for dealing with the object group. No, no, it wasn't an object. It was in the object, not the object group. So you off the raw data, you just grab the properties and then just start laying down properties in the instance map. All right, so where's the raw data? Parsing f source, so we have tmap should be the raw data. JSON's raw data. Parse map. Get on down there. I'm going to initialize properties to just an empty chunk. It's not there yet, is it? No. Actually, I don't want properties. There's two ways to do this. I can reassign it directly to the map, but then there's some chance I would overwrite one of the other variables here by mistake. Or I can just do this. Just create another field to hold our properties. The curly braces makes it a map instead of like square brackets would have been an array. Curlies make a bracket, make a map. You know, it's like working in JavaScript. Back to the parse map. Parse tile set. Oh, where's parse map? Parse layer, parse objects, parse map. There we go. Do the same thing we did for the tiled object. Same kind of thing. We got name, value, and type. But for our case, I don't think we need the type. So loop through map.properties. Problem is, if map.properties is not defined, what's going to happen? Well, what happens will be this. A properties error. So a index of properties is null. But when stick it in there, a index of properties. I thought that would give me a different answer. It's still null. Uh, what are you doing to me? Did I misspell properties? Properties. Interesting. Oh, well, the index of properties actually is zero. It's zero-based indexes. Okay, so you look at the index list for to get all the fields. In this case, index of blah is null. Let's say blah is now a property. Now it is not null, and the index is 1. Okay, so that's how we do it. So if map indexes index of properties is not null, then we can do all this to load in our properties. And so properties pop.name equals pop.value. That should work. Now let's first disable the music as is. Run in it. Wait, I just want to make sure the music is stopped. You know there's no tricks up my sleeve. Okay. Undefined identifier, BGM is unknown. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Background music equals T level properties. Background music. Replace this with background music path. And let's see if our music's back. And it's back. Cool. All right. So we're good on music. Check that in while I'm still thinking about it. First of all, we have the support we're adding for custom map properties. That's going back to the tiled library. And then up here, playing background music to the game. Awesome. And yeah, the file is once again over 100 lines long. Ugh. Okay, so the next big thing on the list is trying to get these NPCs talking. Let's think about it for a minute. We have two NPCs. When you crash into it, it stops. And that's fine. How do we want to talk to these guys? Right now, if it just launched a conversation when you ram the character, that's going to get annoying. So we need to bind that to a key. I think... well, we gotta pick a default action key. I wonder what key I should use. Maybe a space? Hit space if you want to talk to someone. I mean, that is at least good enough to start. Let me make sure there's no built-in action for this. Available, axis, horizontal, mouse X, and joy axis. Available axis names. So this will allow you to use WASD, arrow keys, or the joystick or gamepad to move around. Mouse X, mouse Y, and mouse scroll wheel for the mouse. Got the joy axis. Joy 1 through joy 8 axis, so you can connect a lot of joysticks to this thing. But none of that is related to keys, which is fine. So, key.pressed. Key names. Let's look at key names. So I will just give you an array, it looks like. Let me see what's in key names. Problem is when you do a reset, it wipes out anything that had loaded from the utility disk until you either rerun the startup or reboot. So, key names. Oh, I wish. Oh, it does scroll. I was about to complain about that. Now I don't have to. So here's all the key names. It's kind of neat. Basically, I'm looking for if there's a like a default action key. So the key names includes joystick and mouse buttons. So that's good to know. But I am not seeing a default action key. Do you see a spacebar? Let me check that one more time. Space. There you go. We're gonna pick on that. And yeah, having that inspect dialog like load automatically when you reboot the system, that's kind of useful. Okay, so let's go back to our configuration file. Configuration constants. I don't know, maybe I should rename it config. No, that's the problem. You got the settings is a configuration thing, but the other stuff are constants. I might end up splitting that up, but not right now. Input, talk, and I'm trying to decide if I want to be able to assign bind multiple keys to this. Let's go and leave room for that. Because then it's like, if you do it like this, then hitting space or enter could potentially invoke the talk action. I'm going to leave both of those in place. If key available, key to exit. Oh, yeah, how did it appear? Hmm. Okay, we have two ways of looking at keys. All right, let's look at our list again. So key 27, is that escape? No, it's not. Key that pressed. Oh, key that pressed. That's different from key available. You know, let's try this. Use the key pressed key available and see if we like that better. What was that interface? If key dot pressed, and then it wants the index. Oh, key name. So I can throw the key name in there. Cool. Okay, here we go. Key dot pressed. We want to look at settings input. I want to know if that array contain. Trying to think of the the shortest way of writing this. So basically, for key name in all of these, if key dot pressed I'm talking here. And then break. Which is kind of a long way of saying it. There, think the array, there's an array list util that can help us here. Let me check. Filter. All elements from a given function, and the given function is not true. Right, we're going to try using that filter and pass in the key pressed function. Settings, input, talk, filter, key pressed. Pass in a reference to that function. We're going to see if that ever gets triggered from any of our talk keys. And we're going to leave this here so that we're still able to exit from the top. Ooh, constants lines 27, there's an error. Yeah, you have a comma there. I just fixed that. Oh, well, you need a comma there too. Am I missing any more commas? Okay. Oh, and a fine identifier key is unknown in this context. And it's still playing music in the background. I thought that might happen if we had an error. You know, I'm just gonna let it play. Key is unknown in this context, line 61. Because I did this. Okay. Okay, we can still exit. See, talking is null. And that doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay. And the filter's not doing anything. Settings, input, talk, filter. Am I importing list util? Let's run a little test. Basically, that talk array has the words space and enter. Talk. And then we have a function s equals function name return name equals space. So that should filter on any value if that value is the word space. Talk, filter, give it our test function. And oh yeah, they didn't do anything. It equals so well, I'm doing something wrong. Let's find out what it is. First of all, let's see if there is any example code in the list util. Sometimes there is. Go to the very bottom, run unit tests. So, hmm, filter is even. X12 equals 0, returns true, filter is even. Then assert that A now contains only even numbers. And that works. That makes sense. So why isn't my little test running? Test equals function name, return name is equal to the word space. Oh, that actually did work. Talk only contains the word space. I think I'm not dealing with the results properly. Okay, let's, I think I know what's going on. I was assuming filter returned a list, but that's not what's happening here. So, yeah, filter's not returning the list, it is mutating the list. Looks like we might want this next function, where it actually creates a new result and then returns that result. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Stick an ED there. We're going to use the filtered function. And let's try that. Oh, you see that? That's fun. It's not doing anything with the enter key. Why? Space, enter. Makes me wonder what's being returned for the enter key. Sometimes there's a difference between like enter and return. Like one of them is on the number pad if you have a number pad. Yeah, there's return right there. And I'm just going to sort these alphabetically. It makes me happy. I betcha it works now. There you go. Space and return both return something. And now we can do this. We should no longer need our keys array. Comment it out. We might bring it back later. It's just the way it goes. The moment I delete something, I turn out to like need to bring it back the next day. If is exiting is done equals true, we're just going to do this. Is done if a key press is contained in the exit array, and then we can make that whole chunk disappear. And now for the let's make sure that works. Space is working. Work like is okay. You're talking if the length of that array is greater than 0. I don't care what was actually pressed. I just care that something was pressed. Then basically we need to ask the level for the closest NPC. Or the closest entity that is not the same as like make sure it's not want to make sure you don't talk to yourself. That's basically what it is. But we're gonna refactor this just a little bit. think the only thing I really care about right now is modifying these updates. We got that. I want to associate a script file with each of these entities. It's gonna look like this. Create a new folder, scripts, and then the name of the map, and then probably just the entity name. So we have NPC 0 and NPC 1. And then we're going to give each of those a list of event handlers. NPC 0 will say, hey there. NPC 1 will say, how about that weather? We're just going to print it to the screen for now. Just to get it working. And the question is, should I even bother creating custom property for that, or will it be enough just to see that the script exists? I, I kind of like the idea of it being automatic. You, let's try this. The way I'm going to do it. Did I just close that? Yes, I did. Oh, apparently I found a shortcut key for closing my editor. So that first bit is the name of the map. Start parameterizing this a little bit. So we're going to initially load the cloud level based off of the level name here. What's your name for that town later? If you have an inspiring name for a role-playing game town, you let me know. And down here, level name. And I want to make sure that script file always, like the property always exists, even if it's null. So we're going to go into our entity. And let's go ahead and create a template. There. This we execute and the player talks to the NPC. Have a template file, so when we create new NPCs, we can clone the template file to create a new NPC script. And you could stick these strings in the tiled object properties, but eventually it's going to get out of hand because this is going to get longer. Eventually, you're going to want to have different types of interactions. You're going to want to give it choice, like let the player select different conversation options. You might want to turn the on talk from a conversation into a little store. So I think I want to just leave that scripted. Now we need to be able to take out the debug text, key level closest entity to player. Into entity is the closest entity to the player. We need to implement that function on the level. So let's set the distance to a really big value. It's gonna be the it doesn't have to be too big, but tile level size times 2 should be more than enough. Make sure that's the constant I want. Should be 32. Tile level size 32. Cool. That's what I want. Except that entity locations are in pixels. Tile size in pixels. Levels. Level size pixels. That's the size of the entire level in pixels. Okay. So there should never be anything else, any entity outside of that distance. Now, let's look at the entity. We're going to want to compare the position of this entity with the position of each of these entities, and then grab the one that's closest. And we have two positions we're working with, the target position and the actual position. Actual position is on the sprite object. And I think I'm going to take the target position. We'll see what it feels like over time. And then we're wanting to get the distance. Returning the target entity. Calculate the distance between the other entity's position and our player entity. And then, if other distance is less than the distance we've recorded, then reset the minimum distance, the closest distance, and set the target entity to the other entity. Make these variable names a little bit more consistent. Make sure a point actually has a distance function. Point, 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 there. And there's two things we care about. We want to get the closest entity, and then we also make sure it's within our talking range. So let's see what that looks like next. We have our talking to entity right there. Make sure it's not null, because it could be. There might not be any other entity on the screen. Couple things. One is when you start recording, we're going to need the name of the entity. That just occurred to me. So we're recording the name, so we know who we're talking to. See, let's just we're gonna do it like this. To target position, distance from player's target position. We'll see how far away the other entity is. Or, it could just break. Entity line 3. Where's our error? Comma. In JavaScript, the comma wouldn't be required. That's throwing me off. That's okay. And if without much an if, the tiled level line 33. And if, that's actually a 4. Target position not found in map. Line 24. Self is mapped, not an entity. Let's do that. Rerun. Oh, reboot. Sorry, it was playing the music on top of itself. And it feels like music abuse. Player, I'm 0 pixels away. Okay. We are not wanting the player to talk to itself. Go back to our level. If ref equals the input entity, then continue. Reboot. Whoa! It suddenly started working. Interesting. There's something weird going on there though. So if talking to entity is null, we're going to say there's no one here. That. That should not be happening. Sure, what tile level size in pixels is 128. That doesn't seem right. Size is 32. Mm-mm. I'm calculating that constant incorrectly. Tile level size it's times the tile size pixels. That should help. All right, now there's always somebody there. But we only care to talk if the entity is like 64 pixels away. Other than that, you're just too far away. You don't want to hear the player screaming across the map. Okay, so let's deal with that. 64 pixels. That should be equal to tile size in pixels. And 64. So we're just going to reuse that. Let's grab that distance. Less than or equal to tile size pixels. Then, if talking to entity dot script is not null, and talking to entity dot indexes index of on talk. No, that's a lot of checks. We're gonna clean that up soon enough. Talking to entity dot on talk. And we're gonna make it so that you have to pass in the player object. Passing whoever the NPC is talking to. Theoretically, that should only ever be the player. Let's do it like this. So we fill it with the player object. The player has index in this map called name, so that name should be filled in with the actual player name, which right now is player. All right, let's see what that looks like. Right, and it hitting space right now does nothing. Let's walk up to this guy. Well, that also does nothing. Um, let's let's throw in some debugging stuff. Yeah, we're not even using it is talking thing yet, so theoretically, as soon as you get close enough, then the NPC should start talking, which is probably fine for the moment, but let's try to remember to fix that before we finish this section. So no matter which one of these if blocks fails, we should still be able to get some sort of output. Ireland 71. Let's do this. Easy zero is too far away. Too far away. Can't respond to on talk. Oh. Sea level. Cities. NPC 1. Oh. Well, there it is right there. Okay. There's the problem. We gotta get the on talk callback from the script. Let's see what that does. Too far away. On talk not found in map. Key not found. Line 70. Script dot. There we go. Here we go. It is pulling in the script for that NPC. Now, it is talking. Then go through our big talking block. I don't like how long that line is. Pre-calculate that distance. Can't remember if I'm including the map util. If I'm including the map util, I should be able to shorten that whole chunk. Let's make sure. Oh, let's go ahead and include it. Well, this lib map util contains its value, turning value. I don't know if it has a particular key. Is that not a thing? Get. Turn a default value instead. You know, that's actually not what I want. It's okay, I can just leave it like this. All right, so let's run this test one more time. All right, welcome up to NPC 1. How about that weather? Nice. Welcome up to NPC 0. Hey there, player. Oh, it works. So, that's cool. Oh, there's a little tiled area there. Can't go in that shop. And yeah, need to clear that out. Um. Oh, erase the room there. Hold on. Collision, erase, there. That should be fixed next time we go in. And we can talk to both entities now. The user interface is lacking, but that will be the next thing we do. And I think we've been going for about an hour. I'm going to stop it there. And next time we'll pick up, we'll start going over some of the user interface elements, which the Dawn-like asset collection was so nice as to include for us. GUI, got GUI 0 and GUI 1. And we should have everything we need here to get a little bit of user interface going. And we'll also be looking at some of the built-in stuff the mini macro has to offer with its own user interface library. I'll just go ahead and run that demo for a second here. Sys demo desktop. So basically, I'm going to see if I can integrate the assets built into my tile script, or the tile set, with the GUI utilities built into the mini macro. And we'll see how it goes. And I will see you next time.